right back at you. My favorite road on the road, feel me? It was always a road. There's always a path. The road to Damascus is always. But like I was saying in my last video, the Lord is my shepherd. Who shall I fear? Go ahead. You feel me? You gotta put your tree. I always tell people, man, you have to put your faith in something higher than yourself, man. I know, man. We have so much that goes in our favor. We've been favored very highly. We are God's favorite. We are favorite over the angels in heaven himself. I can understand how a nigga can get real cocky if he was to get into that space. With great knowledge come great responsibilities, because it's like the information, data, knowledge, or whatever you want to call it, when you get this shit empowers you. And imagine having all of the power, all of the might in the world. How do you think that shit's gonna make you feel? Like, it's impossible to have that much power and not be arrogant. That's why they said it's very hard for a rich person to enter into the kingdom of God. You understand what I'm saying? Chop. Let's go. It's impossible to have that much power and not be arrogant about it. It's impossible, really. I mean, think about it. It's like it's close to impossible. I never met a person who, even when I have a little bit of power, I be feeling like I'm everything. So I can just imagine. I can just imagine if they gave me 20 times more than that. I'd be like, whoo! It's like, damn, nigga, you be feeling, you gotta grab your balls and walk around like you the nigga, you feel me? So you gotta give a lot of credit to people who have had power for a long time. Maybe they paid their problems away, who knows? Because it's damn near impossible not to get in trouble. You feel me? Look at what happened to Paul Pierce. You feel me? Like, it's gonna be impossible to walk a narrow path. Like, you feel me? It's very hard to conduct yourself when you have so much going for you. It's like, yo, it's like the world itself tells you this is fun. This is what is fun. It's having girls dance around you and shit like that. Having parties. You feel me? It's very hard for you to be in a certain position and not be tempted. You feel me? You're going to be tempted. The only thing that humbles people down is anger or some kind of struggle. It kind of humbles you down and strengthens you at the same time, because through that process you become stronger and stronger. But once you gain riches and everything else like that, it weakens you. It might seem like you have all the strength, you have the Zeus, you have the lightning and everything else like that, but it weakens you because you depend on the power that you holding in your hand. And that power that you hold in your hand can be your resources, can be your command and everything else like that. Because, you know, you sit on a high chair, you got the high horse and everything else. Everybody's looking up to you, so you know that you giving directions and everything else. So that power, seeing that image, that power can be something of a drug, can be addictive to you, and it can weaken you because you become reliant upon this power and you're not relying upon yourself, knowing that you are the one who created that power in your hand. That's why I dropped the video called The Master of Who. Whatever you're trying to master is the true divine. It's like, to me, a person cannot be a master, because the only thing you're doing is mimicking what you're trying to master. You feel me? That's all you're doing. So, but you can never be the act of what you're trying to master itself. You feel me? But let me get back to my story. Chill, the bird said I'm tripping. No, you tripping, nigga. You feel me? But how can you be in a position of power, have all that strength? That's why it kills when people say that they're God. And I'm like, yo, you have to, I want people to start opening up their mind. Like, you feel me? Because I'm there with it. Because I be like, I really wanted God's power. I ain't gonna lie. You feel me? I wanted all of it. I'm like, yo, I wish I could have God's power. Then they had me thinking, to have that much power and be graceful and merciful at the same time. That's almost quite impossible. Honestly, it takes 4 legs to sit on a chair, bro. Seriously. Which meaning that there have to be some kind of balance of power. There have to be, bro. There have to be. You feel me? I feel like of course there is other gods. The Bible said there is other gods. It makes sense that there is other God, but there's only one God that holds all that power. You feel me? That's what the Bible breaks it down into the word was with him and the word was him. And it's like it had a separation of his powers. So we can understand what we was trying to read about God himself. Because when I read it, I'd be like, damn, how can one person have so much power? But it's not a person. Of course, it's a spirit. But at the same time, there is a God. And that God has so many parts of him that each individual is almost like a hierarchy or a pyramid. You feel me? But God is the whole pyramid itself. But each division of God has its own power that operates in the things that we knew. That's what I'm saying. Native Americans believe in the God of air and the God of the wind, of the sea and everything else like that. It was breaking it down. But to me, the most intelligent society are the society that breaks it down to the simplest form possible. Either you make it into 3 or 1 God. You feel me? And that's what the Bible really broke it down into. Although he said thought was there and the thought was and the word was with God and the word was God. You feel me? If the word was God, then how can the word be separated from God himself? But God always show you that he separated night from day and night from the darkness itself. You feel me? So you can be so like that's the reason why I give the example of a chair, because the chair has different components to it, but all together it takes 4 legs to hold up a chair for you to sit on it. You feel me? But the whole chair itself is where the power is. So if God was a chair, each individual leg will have its own function of power, almighty. You feel me? The almighty itself will be the chair itself that you sit on, the stool, or whatever you want to call it. You feel me? But each individual part has its own function, has its own divine spirit, has its own realm and everything else like that. But they all work together in the greater good of mankind. If you can understand what I'm saying. You feel maybe I gotta read the Bible a little bit so I can get the words right. But I always try to think for myself first before I dive into the book itself, because I feel like if a man wrote the Bible and everything else like that, and let's just say there was a flood and everything else like that, what would be the plan B for God getting to us? The plan B is basically everything that is written is already in us already. Knowing is already in us. The intention of good is already in us. Purity, Holy Spirit, pure energy is already in us already. You feel me? It's always like, so that's why I'm like, sometimes let that bring it out yourself. Articulate these things in yourself first before you run to the book itself. When you're ready, when you ask the right questions, it will lead you to the right answers. That's all. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so I was like, damn, I wanted to have all of God's power. That's what I was thinking. I mean, that's where I was. Like, when I read the Bible, I always put myself in a position of where God was at. I never put myself in a position of Peter. Even when I read about Jesus, I thought I was Jesus. I'm like, when I read about Malcolm and MLK and all these other people, I always place myself in a position of the highest authority. I never placed myself in a position of the people who was looking forward for knowledge. No, I was that nigga. I was Jesus. Fuck that. That's how, even if I didn't know the knowledge, I always felt like I was that person in that position. Even when I read when God was speaking, I read it from my point of view. Like, you feel me? If you understand what I'm saying. If Malcolm said I had a dream, I read it from Malcolm's point of view, not saying that Malcolm said he had a dream. No, me and Malcolm is the same person. You feel me? That's how I saw it, you dig? So when I was reading, I'm like, damn, what would it feel like for a person, a human being like myself? Oh yeah, somebody definitely got me. It's all good. We still here, you feel me? So that means it didn't work. I'm pretty sure they feel good about themselves, but then again, they feel miserable because they thought that whatever they did was supposed to stop me, but it didn't stop me. So how do you feel about yourself now? You should have thought about that before you did it. You feel me? Now they hoping it works in some form of fashion and everything else like that. That's the misery that kicks in. Because now you making me look stronger than what I am. You feel me? And that gives me praise that I don't deserve when the praise is in God himself. You feel me? Because your wicked ways wouldn't allow you to comprehend what is going on. Anyway, back to the story. I'm about to make my round, then I'm going to go in. So, I was like, damn, what does it take for a person to hold that much power? So I started taking all these powers upon. Then keep moving, bro. Ain't nobody stopping you from listening, hoe ass nigga. Like, anyway, I started taking all these powers upon myself. You feel me? You read about the powers of God and everything else, the thunderstorm, the loudness and everything else, giving breath, light and everything else. I just taking these powers upon myself, and you know my imagination is big, so I was able to do such a thing. You feel me? Being able to speak to people like that, just trying to read people's mind and everything else like that, intentions and everything else. I could even place the whole power upon me. As far as my mind can take, that's what I place upon myself. So as I took these things upon myself, it's like you feel the sense of arrogance coming in because you have so much power. It's like, I'm like, damn, like, you feel me? You feel powerful because it's like it leads you to other places like knowledge and everything else like that. And the more knowledge that you gain, because there's a lot more to learn, you feel like you're better than. You feel me? You feel like, damn, I know a lot now. You speaking to people and people are looking at you as strange and shit like that. The sense of arrogance come in, the more power that you gain. So I'm like, nah, you cannot be God. Although I used to watch people that say, I am God, and God this, and God like, and God and I'm like, all right, cool, but it's like, we can never be, not never be God, but it's like, a human, you have so much to work on as a human being. It's like, you can't truly be your father. You feel me? I'm just saying, like, you can think of it as a son of a Johnson. Yeah, you a son of God, but you are not Johnson himself. You just another version of Johnson. So we just a son of God. It's like you a piece of God, but you never the whole God himself. You feel me? So when people always say that they God, it kind of kills me. I'm like, yo, my nigga, like, no, you cannot be God, bro. I'm sorry. Like, you can never be your father. Like, you can act and be like, you can act and probably be better than him and everything else like that, but you never quite him. Plain and simple. You just can't. Like, you're just another version of him. You're just another piece of him. You're another component to him. That's all. You're just a branch to him. You a leaf to him. You a fruit that is attached to the branch to him. Like, you could be a stem to him. Like, it's so many, like, but you never the whole tree itself. You cannot be the whole tree. You can't bear that kind of weight. You can't bear it. Like, you just can't. It's like, it's impossible. You dig? It's just impossible. So people be thinking they God. I be like, you might want to, like, look at your own informations again and see if you can really be God. You feel me? I never heard of God making crazy mistakes. I started thinking, then, okay, the reason why I do not make certain mistakes because I've seen other people made those mistakes, or I have made those mistakes myself. So if God does not make that many mistakes, then how many mistakes did God make for him to be in the position where he's at? You feel me? Shit like that, be asking crazy question. I know it's not offensive or blasphemous to God because he understands when I talk like that. But how many times did God make those? Yeah, these niggas always competing against me. Y'all can't beat me. Stop it. Like, stop it. That nigga's annoying. I was like, how many times did God make those mistakes? Or who did God look at? How many trials and tribulations did they have? Like, I don't know. Time before God, what was it? Like, what made God so intelligent for every step that he takes? You understand? That shit is crazy. I gotta think about it. I mean, you think about it, bro. Just think about it. Everything that God does create life. everything. Everything. Calculated to the T. Go ahead, ho. It's calculated to the T. Even God, if God was to wave his arms, the wind that comes with it creates his own life. The movement and the motion of it will be a form of life in itself. You gotta go into that thought frame with me. I already been there several times, so it's not too spooky for me. Like, I've been there several times. So it's like, even when God spoke, let there be light. That breath, the words. How can you speak things into existence? I mean, we do have that, the law of attraction, you speak things, but his shit is on a whole nother level. That's why I said we only a piece of God, because the version of God that we talk, we can speak things into existence, but we gotta work it and manifest it into existence. Manifest meaning building it into existence by speaking the right things. There you have to build it back into your existence and everything else. But God said, let there be light, and guess what happened? Everything else was formed through it itself, through the words that he spoke and everything else like that. Although he made man out of clay and everything else like that, he made us out of clay. So that's the manifestation of speaking. Every word, everything that came out of that, let there be light, form everything else that we're going through right now. You feel me? That's why I stick on Genesis, because I feel like there's so much more that needs to be learned, and that there's so much more that I gotta divide and dissect through that version alone. You feel me? If you can understand that part, there's no reason for you to go on, because everything else will make sense to you after all. That's what I truly believe. You feel me? Then I'm gonna go into Revelation sooner or later. I have to read Revelation. Revelation is spooky. Spooky, but I'm at work. You already know what time it is. Capo Statics. Jim, you already know. I already finished. But no, that's just my mind frame. You could tell I've been around. But that's how I think, man. I'm thinking highly of myself. You feel me? Although these people try to put me under duress, try to make me into something that I'm not. You feel me? We have a community where if a person is an alcoholic, we make fun of them. If a person is a crackhead or a drug addict, we make fun of them and everything else like that. So our enemies, seeing and knowing that, if I was an enemy of people that think like that, then guess what? I will look at what happened to DMX. DMX didn't choose crack. Crack was forced upon him, and after that, he couldn't shake that off. But if he had a decision to make, his rightfully mine, and he had a decision to make, and he had a choice to pick crack, he would never have picked it. It was forced upon him. So our enemies, knowing that, was forcing these things upon people, and we are naturally denouncing these people. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to be more open about accepting people who go through struggle without us acting like groupies, because when somebody's doing good, we embrace them. But when it comes to the crack and everything else like that, we push them away. You feel me? When something tragedy happens, we push these people away. You feel me? We need to be more loving and embracing when it comes to everybody. I don't care what the condition is. Unconditional love. That's what we need in our community. We don't need none of that fucking groupie act that people force, that they taught us how to. We don't even know how to love on our hill. We've been taught how to love. That's why love is not love, because it's not real. You feel me? Let me cross the street. Feel me? Like, people, to me, that kind of act is like a groupie love. Like, these niggas will love you when you're doing good. Then when you're doing bad, everybody want to throw you away like you're a piece of trash. It's like the package was so new. When you open the package, you embrace the package. Now, when you open the package, you treat it like it's nothing now, because you got what you gotten out of it. And that's what we do to the earth around us. You feel me? Once we get what we need to get, bam, she a hoe. You feel me? That kind of behavior, you feel me? It's manifesting all around us. You feel me? That's why it plays into these little boys and these little girls thinking they this and they that. It's fucking up our whole reality. You feel me? Y'all niggas don't even know how far the rabbit hole go. Everything else is a continuation of each other. You feel me? We need to be more loving when it comes to the people that need the most love. Don't love people who do not need love. Love should be only given to those that requires it. You feel me? If I get a cut, I'm gonna need a patch to pat in that wound. You feel me? I need a cure. How we curing people who don't need no cure? Love is supposed to be meant for those who need it. And those like DMX who was going through those kind of problems needed all the love, not when he passed away. Feel me? That's what I be like. I'm tired of y'all niggas though, honestly. Niggas is so fake, it's disgusting. You feel me? It's just disgusting. Like, we don't know when to do certain things. You know what I mean? It's just, it's out of control, man. I'm done with y'all niggas. I really am. Sometimes I feel like an alien. That's what Albert Einstein said. He said sometimes he feels like an alien among humans. Because sometimes when you have that much knowledge, which is power, it's very hard to see it any other way. You feel me? But I'm good. I'm gonna go in here. I don't know what to call this video. Blabbing. Flabbergasting. I don't know what the fuck to call it.